All right, welcome to the Speak Your Piece podcast. My name is Ian McNaughton, Biggie, joined by SYP creator Ravisher. Rab, what is happening, my dude?
Not much, man. Just working. You know how it is. The grind.
So we've had a busy weekend. This is our first in-person podcast.
Is that since SFU?
Since SFU, I'm pretty sure.
So that's like
February 2020.
Hey, that was a long time.
We were talking about Markstrom, Ben Simmons. I'm trying to think of who else we were talking about on that podcast.
I don't remember much. You over for that one?
That was when we were pretty hyped because we were getting to use the SFU studio finally.
And then COVID happened and you moved schools. And then,
I transferred. School hasn't been open.
Yeah.
It's been great. So now we're doing it in person in this impromptu SYP headquarters type studio. It's great. We have a few things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about some hockey. We're going to talk about some basketball. Anything you want to talk about at the end. First, I want to talk about the weekend because the weekend's been this past couple of days has been kind of busy. So I came up here on Saturday. We're in Squamish. I came up on Saturday. Went to the Railway Museum on Saturday.
I've been there in so long.
Such a cool place.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it. I went on a train ride too.
Oh, I see.
So that was fun. Highly recommend, especially if you're interested in history, BC, Canada. I think it's really cool. And then got to hang out with my grandparents on Saturday, hung out with them again today on Sunday. I also went for a big walk today, went around the Squamish golf course, walked all the way to Yig and then back to my place here on Mamquam. So I don't know how many steps that is or how far it is, but it was a great weekend here in Squamish for myself. And it wasn't too smoky on Sunday, which was nice. It was a little bit smoky Saturday.
Yeah.
But you got anything exciting you did this weekend?
Did I?
You could talk about the goat if you wanted to.
No. No, I won't. It's working. Just literally, it's just been work and gym, just literal grind. It's been a grind summer, then we're back at it again in a month's time with school.
Is the is the goat actually good? We were having this debate on one of the last few podcasts with Scott where I said the goat isn't actually that good.
Usually.
But I mean, I know my brother doesn't like the goat. I'm not a big fan of the goat. The only time I went to the goat was with you.
Oh, you did go. I remember that.
Yeah.
When was that? That was last year, right?
2019.
Oh, 2019.
That was 2019. Remembrance Day weekend, 2019, I believe.
Was.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's a long time.
I was also drinking Corona then.
The newest.
I can't remember what we were doing beforehand, but we went on, I think it was a Sunday night we went to the goat, wasn't it? And then, because it was a holiday weekend, and then we were doing something earlier. I can't remember if we were potting or if we were gaming or maybe we were watching sports. I can't remember, but then we got invited out to the goat, and then we went to the goat for an hour. And that was our time at the goat. I don't know how you feel about it. It's not my my scene, but some people like it. Apparently some people also like Naughty Burrow.
That place is unfortunately closed.
Is it closed?
Yeah, it's just a black wall there now.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
I think a couple of my friends we might go to Fergie's tomorrow for brunch.
Ooh, that's a nice place to eat. That place has I remember having this pulled pork thing.
Yeah.
Dude, that thing is amazing.
It's very nice.
It's some good food.
It's expensive.
I don't care. That shit was nice. That was worth every penny.
So we might do Fergie's tomorrow, which is cool. Do you have a Squamish go-to place for eating? If you get to go out,
I feel like my sister, I don't eat out much, at least in Squamish anymore. Unless it's just McDonald's or not even McDonald's. It's really Wendy's or A&W. Besides it, I don't know, Copper Coil. My sister always will go to there. That's the main one.
Copper Coil rocks.
Yeah, it's just a nice place. It's just good food. It's a perfect location, realistically, in this place. Watershed is okay too. It's a nice place. It's just they're good places. I've never been to Little Chef Bistro. That place is apparently nice too.
I think I've only been there once. So
all the workers that would come through the store and buy stuff were really nice to me. So hopefully.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah, supporting local business.
Yeah,
it's an SYP specialty. Again, we're going to talk about some hockey signings first because some hockey moves have been made, and we're not even talking about Adam Ernie, my boy, getting re-signed by the Red Wings. So that's cool. I enjoy Adam Ernie. Rav, is there a signing recently in the NHL that you want to discuss first, or that you or that you?
We can talk about Jason Dickinson.
Okay, Dickinson got re-signed. What was that? That was deal was three by.
There's like three. Let me pull it up. It's right here. 3 years, value of 7.950, 2.650 per is the cap hit.
That seems like a good deal for the Canucks.
Yeah, that seems like a good deal. I swear it was 3.5, but I may be wrong. I'll pull it
No,
up.
I thought it was like 2.5.
Yeah, if it's 2.5, that is a like somewhere around there. Like that's a very good deal. I like him. He doesn't. I'm pretty sure from what I've seen, he has a good offensive game. It's like an average one for like his game, but he's pretty good defensively. Yeah, 2.65. Deal has 500K signing bonus, 1.5 base. Yeah, 3.25 in year 3 all salary, but the cap hits 2.65. So, I mean, I'll take that. That's a good deal. He's someone we need. We need to. I don't think Sutter can really man that third line anymore. He's a good fourth liner, but when he's on the third line, creeping the second line, and he's on the power play, we can't have that.
Well, that's gonna be one of the most fascinating things I think about Dickinson is like how are the Canucks going to use him?
Yeah, he would be third line. I would assume with like Pearson, and you put like Vasily Podkolzin would be like the one in my head, but like it's definitely not going to be like that's like most Canucks fans think that, I assume.
Well, there was talk about him like I can't remember what something about like him taking one of the winger positions. So then you move JT to center at like third line center or whatever.
Oh yeah, I heard about that too. That you can't move someone as good as JT Miller. You got to remember what you get. You have a first round pick for the guy. You cannot be putting. This is not like going for the Cup Nick Foligno first round pick. This is like first round pick to make our team better for the future.
Fill out a really good roster spot.
Yeah, like it's not the Nick Foligno first round. Hey, we're gonna go for it. Hey, Gallagher scored 5-hole against Campbell in Game 7.
Yeah, I like the signing.
Yeah,
I like that. Well, I like the trade and I like the signing. Like I think that's a deal a good deal for Benning. Which again, I think Benning. I don't know if we talked about this on here or if I've heard on other podcasts, but Benning is definitely like the 2 out of 3 just make some good moves, and then the third move is just really awful.
We can go to Ernie first before we get to there, I think.
Okay, so Ernie, I actually thought Ernie was a bit more expensive at 2 by 2.1. I believe he's making 2.1 on the cap for the next 2 years, which is a little bit rich for my blood.
Yeah, because he's always he's gonna give you good shut, like I don't know if you consider him shut down.
He's a good defensive forward on the fourth line.
Forward. You like on a fourth line, that guy is good. I think what really put him over the edge with the 2 mil was just the season he had. He had what's his points? I know it was at least like
he had 20 points.
20 points. Is that what he had?
I'm pretty sure.
Gosh, Elite Prospects really wants me to close ad blocker. I'm sorry.
No, I thought I think he had 20 points, maybe 10 goals.
Yeah, but he had unsustainable shooting percentage. I think
that point total is unsustainable.
Yeah. I mean, again, he's a good player. I think most teams would want a guy like that. And like considering he was on that team, he was only a -1/2. Yeah, and plus minus obviously is not something you want to look at for this. I would say, but like that's saying something. Like he's not bad. He's not bad.
I'd be comfortable with Ernie. Like 1 is obviously like a really good deal if you're paying $1 million.
1.5 to 1.75. 2.1 is definitely overpaid, but again, it's the same thing with like Masai at this point. It's like, dude, you have to just trust Steve.
Well, and the other thing is that there probably is some like Steve can probably convince some dumb team to take on the Ernie contract and get an asset back.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean,
I don't know if it's because I think they originally gave up a 4th round pick for Ernie, so I don't know if you might get a 4th round back. But you might be able to convince a team to get a third, like give up a 3rd or 4th rounder for Ernie.
Sure. What was I talking about? What was I gonna say? I mean, I guess in this, I feel like any contract low key could be tradable. Besides maybe the Skinner ones. If you can trade Ekman Larson contract, I think you could trade. Like I think you could definitely trade like that, like contracts such as Ernie's. I mean, not even a contract, but like Chris Drury of all people making like all the great signings, such as six.
Yeah, you see, I
3.6.
wanted to know your thoughts about that because you were a bit of a Rangers stan at like by the end of last
Oh
season.
yeah, I was like, because it was just fun to watch, like, because they had, I would say, like, they had like, I still think the Kings have the best prospect pool by far.
Yeah,
I think Colorado's low key decent with like Byram and those guys.
I'll pretend I'm Scott and say that Anaheim's prospects
Anaheim
are.
now, I would say, especially, is much better. But the Rangers had the guys out there. They had Miller out there, they had Laugh out there, and Kako out there. Like
Adam Fox too.
I don't even consider a prospect. That
No.
guy's like arguably the best defenseman in the world. That guy is amazing to watch. Watching that guy play night in, night out it's world class. That guy. He's gonna get paid. He is gonna get paid next year.
And then they decided to just like trade Buchnevich.
Yeah, which is I don't mind it just for the fact. I mean, Blaze isn't good as a top 6 guy. I don't think he'll be good. I don't think he's gonna play in the top 6. I hope not. I hope you Vitaly Kravtsov up there. Hope that works. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of options they have. They have a bunch of young guys. They have a bunch of guys they can bring up. But moving Buchnevich, he had a career season. He was gonna get paid. I think it was over a point per game. Like I think even before, like during that Panarin Russia thing, he was still point per game. Like he was arguably the best forward for a while there. I don't see how you can. It's like the Carolina thing with Anderson. I don't see it like the point of like trading someone and then doing that move where it's like you trade Ned for Bernier and he leaves. Did they get a pick back for him too?
They got a 3rd rounder, I believe.
See, that 3rd rounder better be fucking David, dude. That good. Like honestly, like the trading away Ned. I know maybe Carolina's wants the experience, even though Anderson didn't have a good season. Anderson's good in the playoffs. I'm pretty sure like in his career in the playoffs, he has like somewhat like I think he's over 930. It's something ridiculous. I'm pretty sure.
He's not well. I don't want to say he isn't the reason why they haven't advanced into playoffs, but because it's a team game. Yeah. But like he's performed better in the playoffs.
Yeah, like Anderson, like yeah, he performs good in the playoffs. This guy is good. Yeah, I don't know what to say. It's Anderson is good, and I don't mind the signing, but it's just so much worse knowing that you had Alex Nedeljkovic who was going to be there. And it just I don't know. I don't get it. Speaking of goalies, Colorado goalie, Grubauer, he left.
Yeah,
and I think they had like what was going for them was like. Before that, they already had a good goalie. What do you call it? Depth. Drieger, Vanacek traded away for a 3rd or
second
round Winnipeg 2023.
So
which is again I think just the Caps wanted Vanacek. It worked out for him this year
very much.
And like to have Samsonov and Vanacek back, I think it's good. But yeah, to sign Grubauer, I was kind of surprised just because they brought out Drieger at the expansion draft. He was meant to be the guy, and then now you put Grubauer in.
That's why I don't think Seattle was expecting Grubauer to be available because they did the whole 9 yard for Drieger, and then they're like, oh fuck.
Now you got like top 3 Vezina voting.
Yeah,
I mean he had a pretty bad Vegas series, but you can't deny the guy is a world class goalie.
Here's the thing. I think he's a top 10 goalie.
Last season, I think you could argue he was best. I don't think he was just because of the defense he had. And Gerard wasn't playing like he was clueless for most of the season. So I don't know.
Grubauer, I think, will be a good fit in Seattle. Here's the thing. I still have the Kraken making the playoffs next year. Because their goaltending's really good.
And their defense is deep.
Defense is deep. Joey Decord even as their 3rd goalie.
That's who I thought they were going to take, and I think it was obvious they're going to take him.
Yeah,
just because it made the most sense. It really did make the most sense.
Affordable goalie. He's still fairly young. I think he's 23, 24.
Yeah, I think it was Philip Gustafson. I think he was available maybe.
No, I think Gustafson was exempt. I think there was who was the other guy?
There's one more guy in there. I think it might have just been Matt Moore.
Hoberg, I think. Hogberg, yes.
He's a bit older. I think he's 25, 26. So to get Decord, he's 23. and goalies like Demko's like 25, 26, and he broke out then.
So I like the Grubauer signing. I am a bit surprised Colorado went the Darcy Kemper route to replace him.
And they gave up a good amount. That was like
They gave up Timmins in the first, wasn't
Timmins
it?
first and a third conditional. Arizona receives next year if Colorado wins the cup. Okay. Yeah, I mean, they retained a mill, so it's what is that? 2.5, I think. Is that 2.5? I don't know. It doesn't make too much sense, but giving up a first for a mill retained and like Connor Timmins is like that guy is I think he has like top 4 potential. He was a good bottom pairing guy last year.
He's also dealt with injury problems in the past. So if he can which that's not an easy thing to ask a guy to be healthy for 82 games. But
I think I don't know if he's signed yet. He'll 100% get playing time. He could like. I'd argue he's as good as Lyubushkin, who played first line minutes with Ekman Larson last year at this point. So like,
I don't.
Lyubushkin is just. I would compare him to a Russian Tucker Pullman. There you go. That's a good transition, eh? Tucker Pullman. We could talk about him now.
You made a good transition, but I just want to say I actually don't mind the Coyotes and what they're doing. I like how they're building the team.
Well, Chaika fucked it, so like they had to do something, and they just went to the classic.
Do you think Chaika just realized like, oh fuck, this team sucks, and then Ded's like, hey, I gotta go take this other job.
Yeah, that guy, dude. That guy's an asshole, bro. That guy, there's nothing about it. There's no coming back. That he just threw him in the dump. He brought him home, traded away everyone, and then oh my god.
That was by the way, that was the last game that you and I went to. The Coyote where we saw Taylor Hall, Bill Kessel, Tyler Toffoli.
They lost that game, unfortunately.
Yes.
It was, again, like the Canucks games that we've been to have been like, besides the Detroit one, like the other two we've been to have been like we've been getting like torched, and then we come back and it's like a 1-goal game, like empty net, and like they're this close, and but it's entertaining. So
that I will say, the Red Wings game that we went to was really disappointing because they scored the first goal. It's like, let's go, all right. And then the Red Wings gave up 4 goals. And
that was a brutal game. I mean, I think the coolest thing is when we went to the Ducks game. Sam Steele got the hat trick. Like he only had 2 goals in the season. He gets a hat trick, and like you interviewed him.
I know. I met him. Tucker Pullman. This is a classic Jim Benning case.
You remember where we saying Jim Benning was good? He's making some good moves.
Yeah. He's like Jim Benning.
Dude, it's just the bar is so low that like basic good moves from are like, oh, good move, Benning dub. Like, dude,
so Dickinson was a good move. The Demko contract he signed in the middle of the season, that's a good contract. I like that signing. And then he gives 4 years to Tucker Pullman for some fucking reason. And
again, taking defensemen from Winnipeg who are right-handed and giving him big contracts hasn't worked out. So I don't know if doing it with another one is going to work out.
What are the
doubling down?
What are the odds of trading Pullman for Trouba?
Oh gosh.
Eventually, like giving up a bunch.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Myers Trouba 1-for-1 one day. That's a good one. That one's a more comparable one, I would say.
That would be a fun one.
Now, I think Trouba's definitely been the better player at their peak than Myers, so I don't know. I don't know how Rangers get rid of that one. The Rangers need to get the thing is he's not even been bad. He's just been average.
Yes,
bad. Which same as Myers this season, I would say.
I will say I have more faith in Trouba than I do Myers.
Oh yeah, I don't believe
because here's the thing when you and I were joking about the Tyler Myers taking a penalty challenge or can I get a penalty challenge where he just like it seemed like he would just do whatever to get a penalty, which was just awful.
I mean, he had his I would consider his Louis Eriksson put in his own net moment when he took out the whole team and then
he gets the Blues.
Yeah, that is arguably that has to be the most Canucks play I've ever seen. It's just perfect.
That rocked.
Again, Pullman. It's the same thing with Ekman Larson. I'm just hoping our forward core looks better than it did when you're 1 game away from.
Your forwards actually look really good now.
I always liked. Again, I one thing with Benning can never knock him for is our drafting. I don't blame him for the Vertanen one just because that was that draft he really just got thrown into it.
Yeah.
Whereas these ones
Niels
Evans.
Hoglander
Oh, what a
might be my favorite Canuck.
That's the steal of the draft for that draft. Like, there's no one else who's played hockey in this in the second round from that draft that I would consider notable from what I've seen.
Because what your top line next year is going to be PD
649.
649. I was gonna ask if Garland gets first line minutes.
No, it would definitely be, I would say,
649, and then
Hoglander and Horvat. You got and Garland.
That's a fun pairing.
Yeah,
fun line.
Again, thing is with Garland is I consider that guy really good offensively. That guy he can create chances. He's like a Toffoli, but I would even consider I think Toffoli's better. But for what I saw from Connor Garland, he was going through players. I mean, given it was San Jose, right? But I was seeing this guy, just go through players like nothing. Like he can create chances out of nothing. So that's why I like his game. Toffoli had 10-10 games in the regular season with us when he got traded here. But the thing is, once he was in the playoffs, he wasn't playing because Besser was back.
Yeah.
So he's on the second line with Pearson and Horvat, I'm pretty sure. And that he only had 4 points in I think as many games, 10 games. So I don't know. It could be the same situation where you got this elite offensive talent, but now you have him with Horvat and Hoglander. I would consider Hoglander better offensively than Pearson, though. I think he has better potential.
Yeah, I think you're right with that.
It's again, I think I trust in our coach. He's a good coach. Okay, Travis.
Travis, I think is better than what people give him. I don't know how people.
I mean, I don't think many people give him shit anymore just because of the whole team setup and what.
Yeah, people realize how awful Benning is. It's oh wow, he's got and how Aquilini's cheap.
Oh yeah. The only guy that's really played big time, 12 games after the second round has been Shane Pinto. Everyone, besides that, there's 4 or 5 guys that have played past the second round from that draft who've even touched the NHL ice.
Any other signings that you wanted to discuss?
Before I want to finish the Tucker Pullman thing.
Oh yeah.
And I don't mind it if it works out. Again, the same with Ekman Larson. I just don't believe it will. It's the same thing. We went off on that tangent about the forward core. Our forward core is good. Our goalies are good. Halak, again, to have Halak there, have a veteran with Demko is perfect. And it's much better than the Holtby contract too.
Oh God.
I didn't even mind the Holtby contract. I just thought
here's the thing about Holtby, and it's kind of like the Nate Schmidt thing.
Yeah.
Of Holtby, I think last year was just such a fucking mess that I think I'm willing to give guys Schmidt. I would
people were giving Schmidt shit for it, but
the fact that the past season was just so abnormal, and you dealt with 15 games in 30 days to end.
Canucks got absolutely railed.
Yeah.
Even before that, I just we didn't really have. I don't think we had an outside chance at the playoffs. I'd say we had a 15% chance.
Yeah,
that might be generous. 15%. After that, we were not going to make it. And you shouldn't expect guys who have been sick for 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks, and still probably recovering from it, to play. Ekman Larson Pullman works. Hopefully that works out. I don't think it will. I'm not optimistic, but
you also need a Quinn and PD re-signing.
Yeah, I guess we can move on to that for a bit, and then we could talk about one other free agent signing.
So obviously the move with Quinn and PD, so Quinn can't get offer sheeted because he's played a certain amount of minutes. He's under a different classification than PD. But obviously the move is if you're the Red Wings, you just offer sheet PD.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because if you're Steve Yzerman, you put your balls on the table and you say to Benning, I offer sheet your best player. What are you gonna do about it?
Let me see.
And you give him 8x8.
Let me see what the 8x8.
Yeah.
I don't think Pettersson would take that, honestly. I mean that. I do not believe Pettersson takes that.
What do you think he's worth? 10x8?
Oh yeah, he's worth 10x8. But I don't know if you also got to think about it is hockey town and whatever. But you're gonna put 10 years or 8 years of your life in Detroit. You're gonna I'm not talking about the city, just how the team is right now? Do you?
Well,
want
so the Red Wings are like
they're like
2 years away from making the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then they're like 4 years away from being cup contender. It's kind of like the Dougie Hamilton Panarin situation where you're basically like, you're still rebuilding,
Yeah.
but you sign the guy because you still think he's going to be good when you think you're going to be good, which is like 3 years down the line if you're the Rangers and the Devils.
Yeah.
That's kind of what you're doing with Petey, except it's a bit more you're it's still an extended process, but you're also expediting the process in a way.
Yeah, I guess it's just I don't know what their values are. We haven't really heard much from like people like
No,
insiders.
you haven't heard. You haven't heard numbers.
Yeah, and like I know Pedersen came out and says he wants to be on a winning team, and first of all, the media construed that to another level, saying like made it.
Oh, he doesn't want to play for the Canucks.
Yeah, it's like everyone like. Dude, the guy loves everyone knows Pedersen loves the city. It's just I don't know if the management is because he definitely made it seem that if we don't make the playoffs next year or the next 3, if we miss the playoffs 2 out of the next 3 years, he's leaving.
Yeah,
like for sure. Maybe if we don't make it this season, make it the next 2, like go far, he stays. I don't think he stays if we miss 2 of the next 3, even 4. We miss 2 of the next 4. If we're just a Philadelphia Flyers 1 in, 1 out.
Yeah.
If we're like that, then I don't think we're gonna make it.
Yeah, so you give them fine. You give them 8 by 10 if you're the Red Wings, and you're just like, there you go. Because like one of the biggest.
So for 10 mil, by the way.
Yes.
Are they?
I think they still have 13 million.
Let me see if they can. Do they even have?
I think they have 13 million in cap space.
By the way, Detroit does have the items required. They have 2 first-round picks, 1 second-round pick, and 1 third-round pick to give up. I believe if an offer sheet was given, I think we would be trading away Pullman and 2 firsts for a 7th to keep for cap space. I think we're doing that because I think that you could really fuck over a team with offer sheets. You know what I mean? Right?
Oh yeah, no.
You could just fuck a team over if you really if he signs okay. I mean, 10.2 and beyond is 4 first-round picks.
Yeah,
as compensation, you could just if you're I mean, I don't know. That would have to be it would be such a niche team for it to work. It would have to be a team that is a contender but has just $11 million in cash.
The Avalanche.
The Avalanche.
The
if
Avalanche.
they sign them 11 million for 1 year.
That seems like a very Joe Sakic Avalanche type thing to do.
Yeah, and then you can
we absolutely have no need for Pedersen, but if he's available,
it's you could definitely get him, and every team has a requirement for that.
I listen. I think that's what you do if you're Detroit. You just sign them to the offer sheet. You give up the assets, and you make it happen.
I mean, I think they'll be signed within the next 2 weeks. I hope.
No, this is gonna go on for a while.
I hope that's my hot take. That's my hot take that we sign
within 2 weeks. So by the end of the month.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if it's not, the Canucks fans are gonna have a day.
Well, they
also if he doesn't sign by this month, it's gonna be a Nylander situation. It's gonna be.
It's going to training camp and
if it goes to the regular season, you gotta just give them something. You gotta trade away guys. You can honestly argue besides Daniel and Henrik Sedin, these guys are the best, best players that we've had that have been this young. Arguably our 2 biggest signings in the history of this team, possibly could be this.
How dare you disrespect Mark Messier? And
you don't talk about him. You don't talk about him. You don't talk about him. You don't talk about Mark Messier here.
All right. We're going to take a break here. Ian's going to get a beverage, and then we're going to be talking about some NBA signings. So stay tuned. We'll be back. Thanks again for listening. Stay tuned. All right. We're going to talk about NBA signings and transactions, but Rab, you wanted to bring up Darnell Nurse and discuss about him real quickly.
Why? Why would they sign him for that much money? That's so much money for someone who's proven nothing. Like Werenski doesn't get the shit for it because he's
He's
like,
white.
yeah, wow, yeah, maybe that could be a hot take. There's your hot take of the day. Werenski doesn't get the shit for the same contract because he's white. No, I think he's also on Columbus, and I you could argue he's a better player. Darnell Nurse is it's the McDavid effect. It's the Barry thing where it's like, oh look, he's doing good. It looks like he's doing good.
I only just pulled the race card because somebody I saw. I think this was on Reddit. They were talking about the Chicago Blackhawks because they're in some hot water.
Yeah.
And someone's like, yeah, Akeem Alou, when he's got character issues.
Yeah.
But Brad Aldridge is a friendly guy and whatever.
No, that's like oh my God. Oh, that's like fuck. Yeah, that reminds you. That's the thing he told me about Subban and the Habs.
Yeah,
it's like they're interested in D'Angelo. It's like, oh my, we can help his issues, but like Subban, nah, he only
character problems.
Yeah, he didn't donate too much money to the hospitals and stuff. He was a bad guy.
Seth Jones, listen. Seth Jones is now going to get the Duncan Keith treatment of just playing 25 minutes a night, whether you like it or not. You're playing
each minutes.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to eat minutes. He's going to eat a lot of minutes, and he's going to be really good at eating those minutes. And until he's responsible for 3 goals in like the first 2 games, it's like he's just having a slow start.
Yeah, but he puts up a point per game season that's minus 70.
Yep.
Werenski signing. I know he kind of went off on a tangent there again. Werenski, I consider much better than him. It could be a thing where he was playing with Jones. I didn't watch much of Columbus at all. I just knew Jones had a bad season, and I don't know. I think Werenski probably just had an average season because I didn't hear anything about him. I watched like 3 Columbus games the whole year.
And that's more than I watched.
Yeah, the Werenski, he's been a better player the past few years, like than Nurse has ever been, in my opinion. Again, Nurse is he just can't. He's not a defensive guy. He doesn't play defense, and Nurse Barry is like one of them Ekman Larson, or the Hughes Ekman Larson things. It's like the Provorov Ristolainen, which is possibly happening. Because you also got to remember they're not putting Ristolainen on the third line. They can't.
No,
it's gonna. So it's and like there has been like talk in Philly amongst fans that like Ristolainen will be first, like Provorov Ristolainen.
Tell you what. Here's the thing. I think what we have to do is, when the Flyers come to Vancouver,
we watch it.
We watch it because of the fact that I'm going to watch Carter Hart because Carter Hart rocks. But also
October 28th. I don't know if she'll be open by then, but
she will be open by then. They'll get it straightened out. We have an election coming up. Somebody's going to promise that they're going to open.
No, we're going to do it online via Google Sheets.
We're going to do a whole election.
Please put your credit card number here. Please vote here.
Via Google Sheet.
Yeah.
And then someone starts a Google Doc of the writings where it's just like, hey guys, be sure to put your name in here and contribute your part.
Nurse. He wasn't even really.
Here's the thing. I think people liked him because he played a lot of minutes in the playoffs, and then
and to be honest, Nurse and Barry, okay, let's be honest, I think the point total really overshadowed their defensive capabilities.
So we've also had this conversation of best offensive defenseman who's the absolute worst in their defensive zone.
I think obviously Barry's probably top.
Well, we talked about Barry, Carlson.
I think Hughes improved out of it a bit more. The thing with Carlson, you got to remember at his prime, he was arguably one of the best offensive defensemen to ever play hockey.
Yes.
And I don't think Darnell Nurse or Barry are at that level, even though you could argue they're really good offensively. It just doesn't work with what Edmonton needs, which is defense. And then they get Duncan Keith because again, he eats minutes.
Well, I remember joking a few years ago, how the Oilers need a Duncan Keith type who can be a stay-at-home solid defenseman. And it's just but not, I wasn't saying Duncan Keith specifically. I was saying a Duncan Keith type. Y'all good?
No. I am.
All right.
No, what are you doing? No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
You're just having flashbacks of, Duncan Keith hitting Daniel Sedin in the neutral zone.
Oh man, no, you talk about that. That was brutal. That's why he's still getting booed. Even when they come, they're still gonna get booed.
Good NBA signings or some NBA moves you want to talk about? My boy Alex Caruso has gone to Chicago.
Yeah, we talked about the Walker trade to the OKC Thunder.
Are we talking? So
after that, he went to. Did he actually end up going to?
So we talk about Kemba. He went to OKC, and now he's in
New York, I think.
New York. That's right. Knicks actually could be again like a 4th or 5th seed again next year.
I believe so. I think they realistically should have won 2 games in that series. I think.
Yeah, that's true.
They did choke a bit, but you also got to remember this is like Randall took it up to another level this year, and like
he was their best player, and on any other team, he's like
season.
And he like best player on the Knicks, and like on any other team, he would have been like the third guy.
I would say second. He reminds me of. I don't even know what he reminds you of. He is a kind of like. Oh, I hate comparing with like just lesser Zion, just because it is a disrespectful thing to say about someone.
I was gonna say very like a poor man's Giannis.
Yeah, a very poor man's Giannis. Although I think he shoots better than Giannis.
I think he does.
He does shoot much better than Giannis. I like that Kemba got a good chance in New York because Kemba kills in New York all the time.
Yeah, you just do pick and roll offense with Kemba and Randall. That's what you do, and then you throw like Obi Toppin on like one wing, and then you throw
and just to get Rose back, it helps so much. Like to have D Rose as your fucking backup or Walker, whatever they decide to do, might just do a split minute thing.
Yeah, you do like in Phoenix where you do like the Chris Paul, Cameron Payne thing where somebody's playing 30 minutes a night, and then Kemba plays 30 minutes a night, and then D Rose gives you a really good 10 minutes.
He can give you a good 10, or you just give him 20, 25.
Yeah,
he plays shooting guard. He can play dude. He can play both.
Yeah.
Derrick Rose, to have him as a backup on any team is fucking good depth.
Yeah, so you do that with the Knicks. The other move we should mention. So as of today, Eric Bledsoe is going to the Clippers again. Yes, wasn't he on the Clippers at one point?
He was. Yeah, he was on. I remember because he was in a dunk contest when he was the Clippers jersey.
Was he on the Lob City Clippers?
Yeah, there's a good team. They had like
when that was the team that beat San Antonio, wasn't it?
I'm pretty sure.
Paul Griffin.
Yeah,
Jordan,
I remember Blake.
Bledsoe.
I just remember because there's like a Chris Paul shot. And like Blake Griffin went to dive for it, and like he ate shit, but like he didn't get injured, even though he could have.
I'm trying to think because Bledsoe. That was weird because Bledsoe was on New Orleans last year too.
Yeah, it was which also it just didn't work. And then then he went to Memphis, and I think he kind of went out and said like I'm not playing in Memphis, so trade me. So,
but they traded Beverly,
Rondo, and
I
forgot his name already. I literally know the guy's name. They drafted him recently.
I didn't get that move for the Clippers.
It's I guess they believe that Bledsoe. I guess Bledsoe is better offensively than Beverly, but I just don't think giving up Rondo in any trade is good just because it's rage on Rondo at the end of the day, right? Like it's good to have him on any team.
It's a good depth piece. He's not going to be in your starting lineup, but if he's if he's in your rotation,
Daniel Oturu.
True. Didn't they? Yeah, they just drafted him recently, didn't they?
They drafted him last year, second round, 33rd.
I mean, maybe they
doesn't make sense to give up on a guy that quick. I don't like that in basketball where you trade a guy who, even in any sport, you don't trade a guy that quick. Like, and it doesn't really work out for you in most. If you're unless you're trading for a superstar player, a star player, like you're getting Bledsoe, you kind of know what you're getting like.
Isn't he just a better Avery Bradley?
He plays point guard, so like
okay, yeah. So
I wouldn't consider him that. He's good. He's good defensively. He's such an inconsistent shooter.
And maybe they get cap flexibility for next year, I guess. But
I mean, trading 3 guys for Eric Bledsoe is absurd. Honestly, just on paper, just to think about that, to trade 3 guys for someone like Eric Bledsoe is a bit insane.
That's actually one of like the few like. because they traded Rondo with Lou, like they traded Lou Will to get Rondo.
Which I don't mind. I think.
I don't mind. No, I was gonna say I think this is like the first trade that the Clippers have lost. I think in a while. I feel like.
Yeah. I mean, the Clippers. You could argue they lost the PG trade.
Okay, sure. Like since the PG trade, which was what 3 years ago now, 2 years,
2 years ago.
2 years ago now. Yeah, I feel like it. Since then, I didn't like that.
We talk about DeMar DeRozan going to
The Bulls.
Bulls. It's technically, I'm pretty sure he's traded for Camino, or like Alpha Camino, but he free agency.
It was a sign and trade essentially.
Yeah, just to get Aminu.
I mentioned this on one of the other. I think you asked the question. I mentioned on one of the other pods where I think the Bulls are like hovering around like the 6th, 7th, 8th seed.
Yeah, they did with DeRozan now.
So the Bulls. So your Bulls starting lineup is Lonzo, DeRozan, Levine, Markkanen. I know Markkanen.
Markkanen kind of. I think he's on. He wants to.
Yeah, he's on his way out.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. He had a rough season last year.
So then Vucevic,
and then you could put Patrick Williams there, I guess, just because they did select him.
I feel like they had another big man too that they Wendell Carter's gone, isn't he?
Yeah, he's gone.
And then I feel like they had another big man that they really like.
I mean, there's a lot of big guys they really like.
That feels like I mean.
Oh, they got Thaddeus Young, who had a really good season.
Yeah, there you go, Thaddeus Young.
He had a good season.
So that's like maybe your peak is like 5th seed in the East.
Yeah,
if you're the Bulls,
it is just the issue of
it's a weird lineup where you have like a ball heavy Lonzo.
Yeah, and DeRozan, who's like a mid range.
He's not a 3-point shooter.
No, but he is like lethal. He's like elite, like top of the line, best with the best
2-point shooter.
Oh yeah, mid range. That guy's lethal mid range. Levine, he's just a good shooter, or he's just a good basketball player. That guy's great offensively.
It's the front court of having.
I don't even think it's a front court. I think you could argue the back court, like they're to the point where it's like, well, backcourt including Levine kind of thing, like DeRozan, Levine. Ball, does that work on paper? Like it looks on paper looks good. Does that work in because you're having a guy like you could argue. I don't think people say that like DeRozan and Levine not going to work. They both play similar games. I don't think they do. Just because like DeRozan, you have to watch because people don't watch.
No,
DeRozan
I don't.
players.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's a totally similar game.
No,
because basically, how I would do it, you have Lonzo being point guard. He's kind of running the offense, and it's kind of a good spot for Lonzo where you don't have to get him to shoot. Because I think I compared this before. Lonzo is like a lesser version of Ben Simmons, where you don't want him to shoot, but he's he can get him to make some plays.
The thing is with him too, he actually has the confidence to shoot. And he can. He's gotten so much better. If you see this guy's form from first, since he got drafted, it is improved so much. His shooting, everything is improved.
But if you're Lonzo and you're like the 3rd or 4th option to shoot on that starting lineup, that's a good spot for him.
You could argue, because you could say Vucevic is similar or even better shooter.
Yeah, so you have Levine, DeRozan, Vucevic, and then Lonzo, I would say, are your best shooting options for the Bulls.
Yeah, it's just I think it's a good lineup. I'd say like the playoff team for sure.
Playoff team for sure, but they're probably I think I said they're losing maybe in like 7 games to the Knicks or something in the first round.
First round, they don't have the depth. You cannot still. I liked Caruso. It's fine, whatever. Tony Bradley's another good one. But Satoransky, I don't know if he's still on the team.
Yeah,
Satoransky, I think an okay season last year.
I like him as like your 8th man. Like if you're
which I mean they still have Kobe White, so like to have him as a 6th man is good.
Tony Snell should really be playing back for the Bulls again.
They have Cristiano Felicio signed still. And they also have Denzel Valentine under contract.
I really thought Valentine was going to be.
Everyone thought Valentine was.
Well, I think part of it because of who I am, I still have March Madness syndrome where the dude just went off. I don't even think he went off in March Madness. I think he went off in like the conference tournament for like Michigan State, and then it's like, yeah, that's a guy we can root for and I really like, and he didn't do well.
I just remember the one thread like a few months back where it's like Denzel Valentine is the worst NBA. I was looking at it 2 hours ago in the gym today because I was just going through my bookmarks. I was bored and I just looked at it and I'm just like, oh my god, this guy's garbage. Because I just like I'll just go through my bookmarks. I just remember having that and then it's like, wow, this guy's trash. He just I don't know. I think the worst one was earlier in this season where he I remember what was it? Yeah, I remember, they're down 101-96 in Miami. He comes up for the shot with 50 seconds to go.
Oh,
the
yes.
announcer's like, what is he doing?
Yes. Can we talk about the Schroeder signing for a little bit?
Yeah.
So he signed a 1 year, 5.8 million with the Celtics. 5.9 million with the Celtics. By Price is Right rules, I did really well there because I didn't go over. So he does not take the 4-year, $84 million deal with the Lakers. Yeah. Which so was that, do you know if that 4-year deal they were offering that like in July for free agency?
No, that was an extension earlier in the season.
Okay,
back in May.
I was gonna say February. Anyway.
I think it was May or something is what I heard, but it might have been earlier. I think it was earlier. It was probably a thing across the season where it's like you come back to it, but like probably by the end of the season you got it. Midway through the season.
I was gonna say what's his name, the GM of the Lakers.
Oh yeah, Pelinka.
Pelinka is just like, this is an offer. Like, if you want this deal, here it is. We'll give it to you.
Like it's just like a thing where you can think about it for like the next like 2 months. But like by like towards the end of the season, you gotta like
by playoffs time, you should
even earlier. I would say like 20 games before you like 15. You kind of need something. We need something.
So he doesn't take that. He instead goes and signs with the Celtics.
I think what happened was definitely the playoffs. That playoffs definitely ruined it.
So
it sucks how like a few games can really just like decrease your stock.
What the other thing I don't think people are talking about is the fact that the Lakers got outplayed by the Suns in the first round. Yeah. And then the Suns eventually went to the finals.
Yeah, there were 2 games.
I think that series was not as much about how bad the Lakers were, but just about how good Phoenix was.
Yeah, Phoenix played amazing.
Yes,
they had a great series,
great run.
8 and like to be 2 games short of a championship is like nothing short of remarkable. Right? Like,
so that's why I think he signed with Boston instead, and I actually kind of like Boston what they're doing now because he can be the point guard with Tatum and Brown. Obviously, maybe they go with a small ball lineup of Pritchard and Cantor.
Yeah, because Cantor. He's
a Swiss cheese on defense.
He is. And no, last season he wasn't. I want to consider him Swiss cheese because I watched a lot of him because he was on my fantasy team. Yeah. I picked him up after actually had him before Nurkic. I think he got injured, and Nurkic. I hope he like just. Returned.
I always assume that Cantor's just like that guy in like fantasy football who's like the waiver wire pick that you contemplate taking each week, and then like it's like, no, I think my guys are better, and then you don't pick him up, but then he actually like goes for 24 points that week, and it's just like, I should have picked him.
No, that for a while that's how it usually is with him, just because he'll get you points and rebounds. I got a 26 rebound game I think this year, so like 20 something. Like he gets rebounds, man, and that's like he's a good player. I always like that he went back to Boston. I remember when he went to Boston the first time. He's like, I hope my numbers retired here, just like Kyrie said. He tried to imitate Kyrie because they both wear 11.
So with the Celtics now, so you got Schroeder, who he's not really a 3-point shooter. He's definitely he's kind of like the old school, like the Chris Paul type point guard, where he actually like he can run an offense, he can make plays. He can shoot every once in a while, but you don't
want him to be the primary shooter.
You don't want him to shoot if you can avoid it.
He is your first or second best shooter, even like it's really rough.
It's a little sus. Yeah. Like you rather have Tatum and Brown, probably even Pritchard shooting over Schroeder. So I think I don't actually mind them. Like I'm a Lakers fan. Like I like the Lakers, but I actually don't mind the move for him as the player, where he can go to probably a better fit for him. Yeah. And I don't know if his championship odds are improved with the Celtics compared to the Lakers. They're probably worse, but I actually don't mind the move and the fit.
They're 100% worse. The Lakers, I mean, The Lakers, I guess we can give. Well, we won't talk shit about Schroeder on this podcast.
We're a pro Dennis
We're a
Schroeder.
pro Dennis Schroeder podcast. Okay.
This is a Dennis Schroeder stan podcast.
It's okay, maybe not. He did get flamed a lot. He was allegedly in a state of shock, according to multiple articles that I've seen. After which, to be honest, when you turn down
that much money,
changing money times 1,000 billion.
Do you remember that he was traded from basically for nothing from LA to Oklahoma? The Hawks. I'm gonna pull that up because the Hawks just gave up on him.
While you're looking for that, we talk about Westbrook.
You want to do that transition and go to the Lakers?
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah. Westbrook got traded, guys. You guys didn't know. Russell Westbrook is now a.
So this is his third team in as many seasons.
Yeah, it is. He's all over the place.
So, trying to see if I can find it here. Yeah, that was a weird deal too,
which I think a lot of people expected Kuzma to get traded. I'm not gonna lie, right? Like I feel like most people knew something was gonna.
So, speaking on Schroeder, so OKC acquired Dennis Schroeder from the Atlanta Hawks and forward Timothy
Luau-Cabarrot,
that guy from the 76ers. From the Hawks and forward Cabarrot from the 76ers in exchange for Carmelo Anthony, who was then immediately waived by Atlanta.
Yeah. The legend. That's what, because he's the legend, man.
Yes, and a protected 2022 first-round pick in a 3-team trade.
I always never got that. It's like, the one down the line probably won't be good. And then you realize, hey, we suck now. We could use that pick. And then
that'd be a great pick for us.
Yeah, that would be a great pick for us. I mean, obviously, Boston loved it with their picks from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So it was
that was a Schroeder trade. But the Westbrook deal, so what was the official Westbrook?
Sham said Westbrook 2024 second, 2028 second for Kuzma, KCP, Harrell, and the number 22nd pick that night.
So that was a deal. They announced that right before the draft.
Yeah.
And Westbrook, I don't know. I didn't like him in Houston. I didn't like him at OKC because I don't like OKC.
Yeah.
I didn't like him in Houston because I didn't like Houston and how they played.
Washington, I think.
And then Washington actually, I think it's just the Wizards part.
Yeah, I think he played fine. You got to remember, what it really was just Beal. Beal had a great season.
So your best guys on the Wizards are Beal, who's really good.
Yeah.
Hachimura.
Actually, Moore had a good season too.
But if he's the third best or fourth best,
Hachimura is I think he's a guy who starts for a lot of teams, but I don't think you're relying on him.
No, God.
No. I feel like that's what you kind of want from him, just because he isn't anything special defensively. So you kind of want him to score. I think he is young and he'll improve on that. I liked that pick when it happened.
I did too.
I still think he can become a second, or I don't think he'll ever become a star, superstar, but he can definitely become a secondary piece, number 2 guy.
Also, Davis Bertans.
He had a brutal season. That was bad.
So I guess my point is that Westbrook has kind of been. I guess he was okay. It didn't work in Houston. He's been trying to find that team where he can kind of rekindle the OKC magic.
Yeah,
and it hasn't really.
We can't really with that game that he had in OKC. You can't really rekindle the magic because that relies on you being the primary ball handler. And when you're playing with Harden, you're not going to be the primary. Well, you can be, obviously, but you're not going to be the guy who has the ball 100% of the time. We're Beal. You're playing with Beal. And now you're playing with LeBron and Anthony Davis. Now you're not going to have the ball, but it still worked, which I don't think Westbrook wants to even become that player again. I don't think that's his plan anymore.
That's just. I don't want to say I'm skeptical because I really want to root for the Lakers.
I believe it's going to work out. I don't believe there's a world where Westbrook doesn't fit in with the Lakers.
I'm really hoping it's gonna work.
Yeah.
This is definitely definitely. Well, what's the term I'm looking for? definitely internal conflict I have as a non-Westbrook fan who now he's on the Lakers.
Which for sure, I see what you mean. I don't think you should give Westbrook shit for the OKC thing. I know why.
No,
I know why.
No, listen. I'm from Seattle. Okay,
I know why.
It's not his fault. And he like I remember when he got drafted.
Yeah.
And I was shocked that he got drafted.
Yeah, everyone was shocked that he got drafted fourth.
He got drafted fourth, but I remember him playing in UCLA. It's like, okay, this guy was fun, but drafted him fourth, like Jesus, especially over my guy Kevin Love.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, so you have him, you have LeBron, you have Davis. I guess you're gonna be starting.
Well, they got Ariza too, and again, this team is old, and then you're starting Dwight.
Yeah.
It is an old team. It is a really old team. It is a very old team.
I'm just like, I'll be honest, I would not put money on this team to win the title.
Really?
I
think the starting lineup would be.
So that's what I'm trying to figure out. So you have Westbrook, you have LeBron, you have Davis.
I think it would be Westbrook, Monk. Monk. You got LeBron, AD.
Do you have the roster?
Oh, yeah,
right
right.
Can I see what their roster looks like?
It's you got Ariza, Carmelo, a bunch of guys there. You can scroll down to
Wesley Matthews. Yeah,
I mean,
they actually might start Carmelo.
Which, dude, Melo's been good. I can't deny that Melo has been good since he's come back. Like he's been what I think
and then the other guy, sorry to interrupt you, but the other guy, Kendrick Nunn. Isn't he like very much the Dion Waiters type?
No, I don't think that Dion Waiters is something that you can't really recreate. Someone like that.
The ultimate heat check.
Oh yeah, Dion Waiters is just like you cannot really. There can't really ever be a second Dion Waiters. I don't think ever. Like what he did, and I mean, I don't know what he's doing right now. I doubt he's in the league anymore. Which it sucks because that guy is like. When he's playing basketball, and that guy is actually one of the most talented guys who plays this sport. He's a really good basketball player. It's just the mentality that he's at.
I get what did you see where Dion's playing?
He's just not playing anywhere.
So I guess my point is with the Lakers. I don't mind listen, I like Kuz, obviously. I was also to post him on SYP the other day.
Oh, like I like his hair.
The pictures of him working out. I was also
I saw that. I like his hair in that picture. I like what he's doing, not the old stupid shit he's been doing in LA.
Harrell, I liked. I know it didn't work with the Lakers really.
Yeah.
I mean, it did, but the fact that what's his name, Vogel would like take him off and then put Gasol in.
It was bad. He was playing 20 minutes a night, a lot of nights.
And then he would just put in he would put Gasol in randomly, and Gasol would not do the same stuff that Harrell.
Because in Vogel's mind, it's like Gasol. Everyone knows Gasol's better than Harrell defensively, but you don't need I feel like a lot of situations of Harrell fit better, and it's like bad when it's like Harrell has 20 points in 15 minutes, and then he doesn't play for the rest of the game. Like that. I don't think you should be icing guys like that, even if it's like liability. Defensively, you don't want to ice a guy that has like 20 points in 20 minutes.
And then who knows what the first round picks are going to look like too. So
yeah, who's the number 22? Or is it? It was a second. It's just 2 second rounders. There's just the number 22 pick. An NBA draft this year was Isaiah Jackson. Hopefully, he doesn't turn out to be LeBron.
He might. Did you want to talk about the Your Raptors? They let what's his name go?
Let Suggs go for Barnes, which I
was going to talk about the what's his name, the center.
Who was it again? Like
the guy that you said was like used to pray for times like this when what's his name?
Oh yeah,
Baines. Yeah, they released Baines.
I thought you were talking about like you were gonna like draft. They talk like
no, we could talk about who they were gonna draft.
That could be another one.
I'm really surprised that they took Barnes over Suggs.
I said in my head it was like 70% Suggs, 30% Barnes because I just knew Masai. Like I was preparing for it, but I think most people obviously watch Suggs more.
He played for Gonzaga during March Madness,
yeah,
so
and like
you're
Suggs
gonna.
and like dude, Suggs. Everyone watched Suggs play. He's the most popular guy from this draft by
Yeah.
far. Like everyone knows who he is. I don't mind it. I again, it's the Stevie Eiserman thing, man. You gotta just trust this guy because he's brought us to the fucking Holy Land before. He can do it again.
I also I'm this much of a nerd.
Yeah.
I saw some Scotty Barnes summer league highlights.
Huh?
Made some nice defensive
No,
plays.
yeah, I've seen. That's the only thing I've seen is just the highlights on Instagram. But he is a good player. He really does fit the Raptors. As a guy like Suggs doesn't fit Raptors mentality.
Well, I was gonna say Barnes definitely seems like he'll do well under Nick Nurse.
Yeah, for sure. I believe that like Barnes does kind of remind me of OG in a way, which does kind of like.
Ooh, that's a nice comp.
It does. You know what I mean? It does
yeah,
remind me of OG. I hope he gets that curve where he becomes like even better. Obviously, for a top 5 pick, you really want to hope for him being better.
Yeah.
But OG, like we picked him late in the draft. We picked him like 20. I forgot. It was like 24th or something. But we picked this guy late in the draft, and he's turned out fucking amazing for us. Dude, that guy
and it took like 2 or 3 years to actually like.
And that's how those picks go. Like later first rounders, they're gonna, but like he's panned out better than I expected him to. I knew he would like at least be on the team, like we could try him out. But like it's happened with Raptors like have missed on guys.
Well, I feel like Barnes he definitely gave me some like 6-man type mentality, type vibes.
I think because I don't think he's in the starting lineup.
No,
Nurse knows better than to put him in the starting lineup. I think our starting lineup you could.
You go Fred,
Trent,
OG, Pascal,
and then Boucher or something.
Yeah, you put somebody in the 5th spot to fill that role.
Which again, that's stuff.
I see the Raptors. I do see the Raptors making the playoffs.
Last season again. I will never give a team shit for playing in Tampa when they don't have to because
well, that's like the whole thing last year. Everything was so fucked up last season.
Yeah.
That I think that team was better than what they were showing last year.
We did get Precious Achua in that trade.
He's actually not horrible either.
No, he's good. He's on he was on a Nigeria team that beat America.
Yeah, but then America won gold.
But Nigeria still did that. You gotta.
So by proxy, Nigeria wins gold because they beat America.
Yeah. I don't. After what Dragic did, I don't see him playing. I don't see it.
That's a weird.
Because I think I know what it was. Like he's trying to put something bad into nice words, and the translation didn't help his case. But like he meant
he doesn't want to play in Toronto.
Yeah, he doesn't want to play in Toronto is what he tried. We just try to put in nice words, but the translation, Google Translate doesn't help you.
Yeah.
Kem Birch, I don't mind the signing. I think it's 3 years, 20 something.
Decent depth player. He'll basically do a better job for what Bain was supposed to do last year.
Yeah, I mean now I got two Canadian centers, 2 guys from Montreal as centers.
Is there any other NBA moves, things you want to discuss?
Those are just the main ones. We've been grinding, dude, and I haven't been paying attention much to it.
Do you think Dame's gonna get moved?
Not this season, but next season. Okay. Next season. I think end of next season is when it starts.
Okay.
I feel like that's a good hot take. What else? There's Valanciunas moved to Pelicans and Devontae Graham.
Yeah, I remember that when that move happened with because Bledsoe was going back to Memphis. And I said, I actually don't mind that move for Memphis because I don't mind Bledsoe as a player. And now Bledsoe gets moved to LA, which now it's like, I like Bledsoe, but I don't love Bledsoe enough to give up 3 assets to trade him.
I don't believe that trade is going to work out at all.
Can I also mention, shout out Cade Cunningham. He's what I love about like, especially in basketball where you just see a lot of like player movement and a lot of guys asking to be moved and traded. He's someone who I really appreciate who's like, listen, I want to be in Detroit. I want to make this team good. I want to be a part of the success that the Pistons have. And he's been like that since day one. So I wanted to just give a quick shout out, quick kudos to Cade Cunningham for being like the one guy. It seems like it's like, I want to win here.
Yeah.
Let's roll.
I think Barnes for like going back to Raptors again.
Yeah.
Like, but Barnes has definitely like shown like, I mean, it did help that Barnes, like with Barton or whoever we selected in the second round.
Well, the other thing about
Banton.
I was gonna say the thing about Barnes, they don't. Toronto doesn't get the publicity that the first overall pick in the States would.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
but Banton and Barnes, like it helped that like the first day he got drafted, 2 days later, like Drake like shows him around. And to have that, like to have like the ambassador show you around.
Six God.
Literally. But yeah, to have him show you around. And they from what I've seen from their interviews, man,
Rodion Amirov never got that.
Shut up. Rodion Amirov never got that. Oh, nice. You had to.
Is that the title? Is that the title of the podcast?
Rodion Amirov. Yeah, we could name that. Is he on the team next year for the Leafs? Is that this is a good end? No,
I don't think so.
Is he on?
Nick Robinson. Oh, yeah,
he's gonna be first line.
That dude's gonna. He might like. That's my like really really dark horse Calder Trophy winner next year.
Dark. I mean, again,
like that's really.
Everyone said laugh this year, and that I mean, not to blame. He was good towards it. Again, like all those Rangers rookie really. Yeah. They really turned it up. Like I'd say from Tom Wilson incident to like right when Zibanejad came back from COVID. It was just that was the main reason they didn't make the playoffs. I would say. And they were in a tough division.
So that's the title of the podcast. Rodion Amirov never got that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Perfect. All right. Any other final thoughts or things you want to get off your chest? Do you want to speak any other things you want to speak your piece on?
We'll keep it positive today. No, I do. I think I end off the podcast a bit negative a lot with the.
It's usually just like Philly. Like we never talked about our old podcast. We would always, it seemed like, talk about Philly or Houston or like Ben Simmons, and we didn't even mention that until I did just now. Ben Simmons. Listen, I like Ben. I
have his jersey. I like the guy. This guy is a good player.
But again, I mentioned this before. The team that makes sense to me for him is Golden State.
Really?
Where he doesn't have to be. He doesn't have to be the first option. He can be a really good defensive piece next to Draymond. They're willing to eat as much money as they can to be good.
You would really have to just put Draymond center, but then but you would probably put Wiseman in the trade.
Yeah, it
makes no sense because then at that point you don't need him.
You send Wiseman and the cum bucket back to Philly.
I don't think you send Kuminga though. If you have to send him and Kuminga because they lost Pascal for dumb trade. It was just a second to Utah. That guy was such a good player.
I didn't get that one either.
There's a lot. Yeah, I don't know if it was a salary. I mean, they ate Oubre. They can eat more salary cap. Like they have this. I don't know. They pay luxury tax. They look like they didn't mind it. They paid for Oubre knowing like what the season was gonna be like.
But you kind of have when at that age or that with those looks, you are.
I guess I'd pay $80 million for those.
I would pay $80 million for those looks. Anyways, that's the end of the Speak Your Piece podcast. Yeah. Rav, thank you for doing this in person.
No problem.
Greatly appreciated. We'll be back. We got 2 more pods coming up this week on the SYP podcast channel.
Grinding,
putting in the effort. Hopefully you tune in for those. Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Be sure to check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We'll be back again soon. Peace out.